Content disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed in the media or comments on this channel are those of the speakers or authors and do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions held by this channel's broadcaster. Due to the social nature of this broadcasting channel, videos may contain content copyrighted by another entity or person. This channel's owner claims no copyright to said content. The broadcaster of this channel cannot be held accountable for the copyrighted content. The broadcaster of this channel is a messenger and sharer of information and strives to verify, but cannot warrant the accuracy of copyrights or completeness of the information on this channel. If you have a complaint about something or find your content is being used incorrectly, please contact the broadcaster prior to making a copyright claim. Any infringement was not done on purpose and will be rectified to all parties' satisfaction. Thank you.
Hello there and welcome to the second Inazuma podcast, where a bunch of us diehard Inazuma fans talk about fantasy football. My name is Noah and I'll be your host yet again for today. And the same people are joining me for today. Lost, can you reintroduce yourself for the second podcast?
Well, I'm still Lost, Fubuki fanboy, and probably the silent type of the podcast, but I'm trying my best. And I finally got a mic, so I hope I don't disappoint this time.
Sounding better already. Next up, Ollie.
I'm the coolest guy here, the one and only. Unlike Vic, I don't chuckle. Yeah.
It seems we're off to a great start. And then Vic, do you have anything to say in return?
I flex my knuckles.
Okay, so before we start this podcast, I want to thank everyone, and I think I speak for all of us, that watched the first podcast and is supporting us on making more of these in the future. You make these podcasts worth it, really. If you want to see more of
Thanks,
these,
Mom.
if you want to see more of these or have any topics you think we should cover in these podcasts, please leave a comment below. And while you're at it, check out the Inazuma 11 subreddit, where we will ask topics for the next podcast in advance after that one is uploaded. Don't forget to like and subscribe, you know, the general YouTube business. We don't have Raid Shadow Legends as our sponsor, so please forgive us. And anyway, let's not dwindle too long, as we still have a podcast to do. So let's get on to the topic of today's podcast. And if you haven't already noticed by the title, today we're covering the sacred first season of Inazuma 11 ever.
Quote unquote.
It's shit. It's literally shit.
Way to put it subtly.
Pissed off the nostalgia, guys.
I think we're already off to a great start, because this is the first season, guys. So we're probably going to start with like how you got into it, because most of us probably started at the first season. So I don't know who wants to start off. We don't really have an order today.
The scary German man came into my house and forced me to watch it, and then I did.
So, do you want to share your story first, because you're the one who watched it most recently of all of us?
Pretty much started on season 1, got bored of it, came back way later, and binged through the entire series and caught up. And now I'm here, doing a podcast for 5 people.
You're with 6 people.
Okay, that's quite interesting. Was there anything that really got you into Inazuma, or are you just like here now?
Me.
The persistent requests of Oliver, along with the season's overall increasing in quality.
You're welcome.
Well, I think then it's only logical to go to Ollie. Ollie, how did you get into Inazuma, and how did you even think of getting Vic into it?
Okay, so basically my story is I was in 4th grade, and I had this German magazine, was called Game Master. And I loved that magazine to death, and I had Inazuma 11, and I was like, hey, this looks kind of interesting, but I hate soccer, so I ignored it. Then, like a year later, I was like, hey, I should get a DS game, a new one. And I saw Inazuma 11, I was like, hey, I know this. Then I bought it, and then I fell in love. And about at the same time, the anime started in Germany, the first season, so that's how I got into it. And why did I get him into Inazuma? Because I want more people to know this franchise, and I feel like I could annoy him enough until he does it. He's the only person it ever worked on.
I regret this decision every day.
Yet you're still here, Vic. That does make the difference. For me personally, when I got into Inazuma 11, it was actually on Jetix. Probably the Dutch people can remember. I believe it was Jetix called at that point. Maybe Los can confirm this, but I started
I'm
watching.
pretty sure.
Yeah,
Pretty
Jetix.
sure
Yeah.
it changed to Disney XD, dude.
Yeah, it changed too many times. Anyway, so I was like free on Wednesdays, and Inazuma 11 would always be on Wednesdays. So I would always be able to watch Inazuma 11. Like I started at one point like, oh, I'm so fucking bored, let's watch TV. Then I found Inazuma 11 in the middle of season 1. And then like shortly after I started watching anime, so then I found season 2 and so on. And of course I was already a fucking big fan of sport games, as one of my favorite other animes is Kuroko no Basket, as probably many of you already know. And being able to play a fantasy sport games like Inazuma 11 just kind of clicked with me. Mario Striker Switch game when?
I personally started with the same channel in 2011, I think, and I hated it. I hated the entire show because it was the occult match, I think, and I hate Samyuka, I still do. So I just stopped. And a few days later, the Zeus match was on, and I watched that, and I liked that, so I just watched more, and I fell in love with Fubuki.
So what you're saying is that Frody's the best character.
Oof.
Oof.
Yeah,
Oof.
I thought you were gonna say like, I watched season 1, and then I went away, and then I watched season 2, and I basically just fell in love with the show. I wonder why.
Nah, Zeus was there, the gods, and all that.
Imagine unironically not liking Samyuka. It's okay to be wrong.
Oh my goodness. Anyway, for the games as well, did you all play the first game, or didn't you?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I did.
Surprising, because most people started playing from game 2, since game 1 wasn't really that compared to
Good.
game 1. Game 2 was way better. Yeah, I think you can all agree.
Yeah, definitely. A lot more content.
And Fubuki.
That's a good thing.
If that was the good thing, man, the next podcast is gonna be interesting.
Oh, I'll just gush for over Fubuki for just the entire out.
Next podcast can be a solo podcast. It's just Lost, FYI.
Just kick out Lost before the next podcast and do it with the other guys.
Yeah. Oh god, I can't wait.
God, I just
Anyway,
noticed next episode will be the Fubuki fan versus the two Saginuma fans. Let's go.
and meanwhile I'm just there like, Alia is great, yay!
Wait, there's Saginuma fans? What?
There's two of us.
Come on, guys. Let's stay on topic here. So, since we've already done like kind of how we got into the show, we kind of can go on to what we liked about the show in the general 4 favorites that we called it in our notes, which is the favorite character, favorite Hisatsu, favorite moment, and favorite team. Let's start it off with favorite character. Lost. What was your favorite character from season 1?
Well, I actually had a hard time choosing one. At first I was like, Shadow or Yamino Kageto. Like, he's a cool character, but game only. So then I went with Kazamaru, because he was the first Raimon character I actually loved. And his Hisatsus were really cool, even if he didn't do a lot.
In the fan votes, he also still today comes out like as a quite high of a character, so it's not surprising to see that return here. I think a lot of people fell for Kazamaru like immediately in season 1.
I mean, I loved him in season 1, but he was way better in Orion, Ares, season 2, season...
Yeah. Well, he had to grow. Like most characters, like season 1 was really a setup season where it's like, okay, these are all the personalities, blah blah blah, and then suddenly in season 2 you start seeing them grow. And I mean, he got the Phoenix shot with Gouenji. What's the name again?
No Kazumidori.
Yeah, that one. That was pretty interesting to see him work on a shoot technique. To be honest.
That's actually my favorite Hisatsus I've written down for this book.
Okay, nice. But for me personally, I actually went with Domon. This is a pretty rare, I think, a rare choice. See,
Hey, own it.
I respect that. I respect that.
because like the thing about Domon is that I felt like he had most character development in season 1. Like he went from being a traitor for Teikoku with showing Killer Slide and other signs that he was clearly not a Raimon fan from the start. But then when it came to be, when the bus sabotaging was happening, he decided to join Raimon. And yeah, I think as a character, he's probably one of my most favorite characters from season 1. Yeah, he wasn't a main character, but yeah, he did have development really throughout the entire series and so many cool interaction with other characters.
I absolutely respect the Domon pick. I feel like he gets too much hate for some reason. Like I see him get a lot of hate, and I really love him. I feel like Domon is a great character in all seasons. He's not my favorite from season 1, but he's definitely up there. I mean, my favorite from season 1 is Kido, which shouldn't be a surprise. Kido is my favorite character in the series, tied with Nausicaa. So yeah, it's just definitely Kido. I love Kido in season 1. Going from an antagonist to a good guy is just something I really like, and he's just cool overall.
Yeah, like as you said, Kido started out as a really dark antagonistic guy, which is all about crushing opponents, but it's surprisingly that you can fall in love with that character from the start. Did you immediately have the connection with Kido, or did it come when he joined for Raimon?
I immediately loved Kido. Like I remember playing the game for the first time, I saw Kido, just his portrait in the original Inazuma 11 game, and general just that he wore those goggles and the cape, and I saw like, I think it was Illusion Ball. I was like, okay, as soon as I can recruit this guy, I want him. And then you just get him from the story, and I didn't see it coming, so I was really hyped as a 9-year-old.
The hyped 9-year-olds. Man, are we PewDiePie fans? Oh no, those 19-year-olds now.
Way to make a guy feel old.
Well, old guy then, what is your favorite character?
I mean, it's the character that's probably my picture, unless the editor screwed up.
Oh
no. Aphrodite just made a really cool villain as like the first big obstacle, and like the whole thing of him being shrouded in mystery until the very end.
I mean, Aphrodite was only in the first season for a really short time, but many people connected with him as a character, and oh, what?
Yeah, dude made an impact during that.
God knows how, but it happened.
Ah, God knows.
Oh god, no, I hate you guys.
Couldn't do it without one single pun, okay, I had to put it in there.
You have to do it every time, don't you?
It's literally the second podcast, but okay. I guess we're doing it now.
Time.
Yeah. Anyway, for favorite characters, yeah, we have different opinions on this one, but the mad respect for Domon is nice to see. And Aphrodite and Kazamaru, yeah, a little bit more standard picks.
I gotta give a shout out. Just because last year, I gotta give a shout out to Somioka. Somioka is great, and he's
You're
great
wrong.
in season 1 and season 2. Somioka is absolutely great.
Lost. What did you want to say?
You mean the literal guy who was in the best Ares match and did nothing? Oh yeah, him. Yeah.
We're talking about season 1 here, Lost. We're talking about season 1.
Okay. Then the striker with anger problems and a shitty Hisatsu.
Atsuya?
Ooh.
Yeah, because he was in season 1. Yeah, dude.
Okay, let's continue on before we actually start flaming each other. There were a lot of unique Hisatsus starting from season 1 because it's the first season. I mean, all the Hisatsus were unique back in the day. But if you had to pick a favorite one, let's start with Lost, since you kind of already spoiled yours.
Well, I have two written down. So one is Hono no Kazamidori, or Fire Rooster for the people who played the game. I really liked it because Fire Tornado wasn't really my thing, and this just blew my mind. And I thought it was really cool with the positions and how the original Inazuma 11 helped them with it. So yeah, that's my take on it. And my second favorite was Death Zone. It was so intimidating the first time they did it in like the first match, and that just always stood with me.
I'm just gonna go next, and I mean, my favorite character is Kido, and so my favorite Hisatsu in Season 1 is Inazuma Break. I feel like Season 1 doesn't have too many outstanding Hisatsus, but it has some cool ones. Inazuma Break is one of my favorites. I love God Hand and Magenta Hand. I love Kota Penguin number 2. And besides that, I like I forgot what it's called, the Keeper technique of Occult. That was, like, as a kid, to me, that was very intimidating. I was like, hey, this technique is great, it's so OP. And then when I got the character in the game, it's like, oh god, he's shit.
Yeah, about Honokaza Midori though, wasn't that like a move that was put on Kazamaru and not on Gouenji, or am I wrong about that?
Yes, it was, and that was really bad because there were no long shoots in Inazuma 11 1, so you either had to put Kazamaru as a forward or he was absolutely useless.
Yeah, I remember. Oh my god, that was such a tedious thing because the shot was basically necessary to win the next game.
So I got the trigger lost again. I really like Dragon Tornado. I'm sorry, I love Dragon Tornado.
Yeah,
Dragon Tornado is really cool though. You don't got a disc.
Compared to, I think it was Wyvern Crash in Lost's case. Oh my god.
Wyvern Blizzard is way better than Dragon Tornado.
I agree, but Dragon Tornado is so cool.
Oh
Well, I wanted to write this one down, so I'm just gonna add this. I really liked Twin Boost F. Like, it was random, but I really liked the combination play between Kiddo and...
Yeah, I respect that decision. For me personally, my favorite Hisatsu was the Pegasus. Seeing the track go from Domon, I also liked Ichinose and Domon. And guess what? I then also, of course, liked the Hisatsu they brought along, the Pegasus. Just the trial and error at the start where they needed Aki to actually just have a one shot at actually finishing the Hisatsu and actually managing in that case. And just the use of it over matches, like with first versus Nishigaki, I think it's called, the defender from the Mukata twins or triplets.
Nishigaki.
Yeah, Nishigaki. And just turning into the Phoenix as well, like to make it its own Raimon triple shot. That was just amazing. Animation wise, also very ahead of some of the other shots that we saw on the show. Yeah, it's just one of the greater Hisatsus. But Vic, I think I have you left for this Hisatsu. What was yours?
I'm going with God Knows. Like the scary final shoot of the season. It just has that impact to it, you know? Like the heavenly final boss kind of shoot.
It did.
I also got to throw in Heaven's Time. Heaven's Time is absolutely amazing, and it was so good when it was made in ORM. Heaven's Time is absolutely great. It's one of my favorite dribble moves.
Agreed.
From dribbles? Yeah, most definitely from Season 1. Going into favorite moments though, I'm going to start it off here. It's following up on God Knows. So the favorite moment for me, most definitely from Season 1, was basically Endo finishing Majin Hand for the first time. Like realizing, oh wait, my grandpa was left, so I gotta find a way to use the left power with my right hand. And I still watch that moment basically religiously once a month to see if I still get chicken skin, and guess what? Till this day I do.
I agree. I would have put that as my favorite scene too. I love Magenta Hand. I still watch it like relatively often. Besides that, I also really like the whole lead up to Inazuma Break, like with Raimon being kind of depressed because they are not really working with Kido, and then it just works out. It's cool with Endo's motivational speech. And I also really like it's called Inazuma Otoshi with Kabiyama and Gouenji. It's a really good moment early on. And Dragon Tornado. Dragon Tornado is also a really great moment.
I'd say my favorite moment is probably the defeat of Kido's team during the finals. You see the net like absolutely destroyed along with like the entire field, and it just sets up the finale so perfectly.
Yeah, the power of God knows on the field. Even though we never actually saw it in the final, the power of that shot in that one scene versus Imperial Academy, or Teikoku as it's also known, that really struck with a lot of people, like, oh my god, these people are fucking strong. I'll probably have to censor that. Damn.
Well, I have actually written down 3 favorite moments because I couldn't really pick, even if I disliked this season. And one of them is the moment against Mikage Seno, when all the brainwashed characters like pull out the glasses or the things that stuck to their head and all say Owarida, which means it's over. And the Gouenji and Arata Fire Tornado clash when they do both the same move and fall down. That's like such an iconic but cool moment. And also the race, like it's really dumb, but I really love the little speed race between Kazemaru and the captain of the ninja team. Like,
oh yeah,
their little rivalry was so cool to me.
it's one of those small details, you know, that you either pick up and remember, or it just kind of fades away, but it's cool that you remembered.
Yeah, it really did something for me. I don't know, I just loved Kazemaru and I loved the ninja team, so it just fit. And the final one for me is when Aphrodite goes kind of insane with the ambrosia or holy water or whatever you want to call it. And you can see his veins and he gets mad, and I love that so much.
Mad buff.
I also got to throw in the entire Otaku match, I forgot the Japanese name, with Megane. Just giving Megane screen time. I love that match just for, it's like 10 minutes, but just for him. Where like when he talks them out of their stuff, like they're cheating because of his ideals, and Megane Crash is great. I love it. It's so underrated.
Yeah, it was a moment where us weebs connected for once. Yeah, going into the from the favorite moments though, from the favorite team, I see that we're in the chat. We're already discussing if any one of us chose anything besides Teikoku or Zeus. So I'm gonna start off with Vic because I know yours. Like I think everyone
Zeus.
should, yeah, everyone should know by now. It's probably Zeus.
It's Zeus.
Did you? Yeah, I'm gonna still say it. Did you have any specific reason to choose Zeus besides the threatening power that they had?
I just like a lot of their players' designs and the whole mythology thing with them. It's just a cool theme.
Yeah, their naming also, like the actual names that they have, like Afro and Aphrodite. Basically, how they try to mix the names with the actual gods was also really interesting.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I'm gonna go next because mine is also fairly obvious, considering who my favorite character is. My favorite team from Season 1, and one of my favorite teams total, is Teikoku. Not just because of Kido, I love every single character, at least from the main 11 from Teikoku. They're all really cool, in my opinion. Like, they have really outstanding designs. Like, I can remember every single one of their designs, and they're all just really cool.
Is that you admitting that Genda is a cool character?
He's a cool design, and he is cool Hisatsu. Besides that, he's overrated. That's always what I'm
This is recorded on video, you know.
Yeah, this is now on record. Yeah,
I also just said Sakuma is good. Damn it.
Well, he is, so
well, Lost, then hit us up with yours. We had the 2 basic ones now, so please spice it up.
Well, my favorite is Zeus. No, okay, just kidding. Mine is Sengoku Igajima, like the ninja team. I always love them. Like, if I think back about Season 1, I think about the ninjas. I love their whole style, their Hisatsu tactic, the main trio. I love them all so much.
We're not at Hisatsu Tactics yet. Shh, spoilers.
Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah, the ninjas had an interesting vibe, definitely, as you said, with the speed battle for Ninja and Kazamaru and the whole vibe they had in season 1. That was most definitely interesting.
Yeah, exactly. And the little scene with the male/female of Kazamaru's running club was so.
Yeah, so y'all think that is like interesting teams, but I'm gonna hit you up with an even spicier one, and that's Mikage Seno as my favorite team.
That's solid, dude. I was thinking
That's
about them
really
too.
cool. I like Mikage Seno too, but that's really cool.
For me, basically, the first time I saw Mikage Senu, I was struck by the white-haired forward. I forgot his name. Not Arata, but the other forward. I can't come up with his name. Anyway, basically the designs for the characters and how they played the game like in such a robotic way by always making the right call, the right decision based on all the data that they had discovered. Like, as someone that really likes data science myself, to see a team, a sports team, actually use data so effectively in a show, basically, that really struck a snare that would stick with me for a really long time. Also, I'm a fan of Patriot Shoot, Don't Shoot Me. I like it. But are you booing me for saying Patriot Shot's a good shot? Okay, I get it.
I'm booing you for the pun right afterwards.
Okay. Anyway, it's like as if they're playing chess instead of football, you know? It's like they know the rules and they're trying to manipulate it as much as possible to their advantage. And then what do you want to say?
I just wanted to say that I really like Sugimori, like their keeper as a character. For a minor character, he's really cool, and I loved him coming back in season 2 and like being an ally. He's great.
Yeah, like the whole thing, as I was about to say, like the whole thing that at the end of the match they take off their data plugs basically and play normal football. That was also that really stuck with me, you know? It was really interesting to see. So now that we've covered basically our favorites as teams, moments, satsus and characters, and I would say a thing that for most people about this season stuck with them the most is probably the nostalgia that we have today, as it was the first season, and there's quite a discussion going on between what is called nostalfags, I believe is the general term that people use, and people that are more about the later generation, such as Go, and now Aris and Orion. Lakki or Ollie, what is your general opinion on, let's just say, the nostalgia factor where they compare the old seasons to everything, or the new seasons to everything?
Nostalgia factor carries season 1 hard, and I feel like a lot of people just don't want to admit season 1 being the worst season because objectively it just is the worst season. Like, even ours was better than that, because they were disappointed with the direction in which Aris and Orion went, which I can understand, but because of that they tend to rate season 1 higher and overrate it just because they fond childhood memories with it. I like it too because I do have those memories, but it's still not a good season, objectively.
Yeah, a lot of people still think that the nostalgia, because they watched it first, it's like everything gets compared to that specific season as well, seeing like they think that because it's the first, that's the quality it should be, when really it was one of the most stereotypical seasons. And we're probably going to get a lot of hate in the comments if we keep continuing talking like this, but we're probably going to keep doing it because we're all very convinced that the newest seasons were better than the older ones, animation wise and probably also character wise. I don't know if Lost agrees with me. I know you have your favorites in the original series, but that's not necessarily season 1. Would you say you agree with the nostalgia factor, or are you also more on the side of like the newer seasons are better than the older ones?
I think nostalgia plays a huge factor in the whole debacle around Inazuma 11, but people just don't really care. And I'm going a bit on a rant here. The subreddit is just toxic. Like, I love the people there, most of them, but seeing how Orion gets hated on just because it isn't season 1 is so annoying. Like, they're trying their best, and I think the whole season is really good. Like, season 1 is good. It's not the best, but it's good. But far from better than Orion, Ares, Go, even Galaxy. So
Even
yeah,
Galaxy.
And there go our
especially
viewers.
Galaxy. I like Galaxy.
Galaxy is a good season.
It's like my second favorite season.
Same. Third
Okay.
favorite.
Third favorite. Oh god, you're putting pressure on me by saying I didn't really like Galaxy.
So now the entire subreddit is gone. So
Thanks
So-
to the 3
Yeah.
people sticking around.
Yeah, thanks guys. Hope you don't hate us by now. So yeah, the nostalgia factor, I would say really, I don't understand the people that say that like it's not nostalgia that's making them enjoy season 1 the most. Like, what else could it really be that made season 1 stick with them so well? Like, the animation quality of, maybe not of Aris and Orion, seeing that they are cutting budget for other shows, but definitely in Go, I think it's way better animation quality. Looking at Souls, looking at Hisatsu's, just in general movement from an animation perspective, compared to the quality as well. Let's not talk about the quality. The quality is also way worse in the original season than it is in later seasons, where Orion actually has the best quality. It's just hidden behind, let's say, how would say, yeah, budget cuts. Still budget cuts. I don't know if you have a different opinion on that, but yeah, I think it's the animation.
okay, I'd like to add one more thing for the subreddit. Like,
Oh no.
I see people complain. Yeah, I'm gonna do it, bro. But I see people complain about the art style. And the art style in Ares and Orion isn't bad. It isn't like season 1, but it isn't bad. It's better in my opinion.
Much better than
But the subreddit is always complaining about them, and I don't know why. I really don't.
So I gotta chime in here real quick for the favorite characters. We forgot the absolute man, the legend, the one and only Gojo. The best character in all of Inazuma.
Actually correct.
Solid.
He did get number 1 on the fan vote that was held last year. He did do it. Like, he was there. That's gotta be worth something. But no, for the nostalgia factor as well, like, seeing, yeah, how would I say this? On, as Lost said, on the subreddit, I don't know if we actually have people in the WhatsApp group that also feel like nostalgia is yeah, that much a factor. But like, what else could it be? Like, Ollie, do you maybe have anything? Like, I really don't understand these people that say, this is not nostalgia why we like the show, it's just better. Like, is there any reason you know why they could say that besides nostalgia itself?
Very simply said, people hate change. And people generally tend to dislike new things, except for when they're really outstanding. And even then sometimes it's just hated because it's new. And I feel like because Inazuma is a childhood thing for a lot of us, it just matters a lot. And I feel like because some characters like Kazemaru or Kido get better in later seasons, they tend to retrospectively view season 1 as better as it actually was, just because the following seasons are better.
Yeah, you make a great point saying that, like, the accepting of change really does make a difference. Generally, though, yeah, actually, it was the same with Orion, where people finally accepted Go, and then Orion's animation came out, and we started complaining again. Even like we already discussed this kind of in our last podcast, the hate for Orion's animation and the budget they've cut to go to other shows. Which I think, just in general, the quality of the show, the original show, is just not at the same level.
Speaking as somebody who has like no real nostalgia for Inazuma since I got into it maybe like a year or two
that's
ago,
true.
A year.
I'd say, yeah, one thing that maybe people like better about the first season is sort of like the charm and the groundedness of it compared to stuff like Ares or Orion, which is more like superhuman and like things are starting to go crazy there.
Yeah, that is true. Like seeing season 1, season 2, and season 3, they didn't have souls, they didn't have avatars, no avatar armed. Season 1 was just a season of soccer, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that is a good point. But that then generally still season 2 and 3 also kind of fall under the same category. Maybe season 2 less than season 3 of the original series since it involved aliens and magic crystals. But generally I don't see why they always compare to season 1. It's always season 1, it's not necessarily 2 or 3, it's always season 1. Yeah, but I'm thinking if there's something else that we can discuss as a topic, because we still have some time left before we go into something else. So if anyone actually has anything he wants to say right now, or has another topic that we haven't discussed yet that is willing to bring it up, this is your shot now.
Well, actually, you go first, Ollie.
I think we could still talk about like our favorite match in season 1, but basically only two come to mind, and that's Takeku and Zeus. If anyone has one that's not Takeku or Zeus, please speak up.
Hello. No, I'm just kidding. I think my favorite match was actually Occult. Please don't hate me.
It's my
That's a
third.
good. Yeah, same.
Basically the first actual game they played with the full Inazuma 11 team, like not getting beat up, where it's actually kind of fair. Also, shout out to Ghost Lock, first tactic that ever existed. Please respect it. And it was just a really cool tactic in general. I was kind of sad to find out that it was actually the coach doing it. I really thought they had some fucking voodoo magic that was causing the people to stop, but it was just someone chanting. Kind of sad. But besides that, the keeper, like Ollie already said, the keeper actually really felt like a threatening keeper due to his Hisatsu. And
Also, the forward looks really cool.
yeah,
The captain.
we're probably going to see that back because we have some Reddit questions where we made our own team for season 1, and yeah, I think we'll see him back there. At least I personally have him in my team, just as a little spoiler already. But yeah, is there any other match that's worth talking about right now? Like really, Taikoku, Zeus. What do you think about Wild?
Shoutouts to the jungle one for being the worst one.
Oof, Wild
The
Claw.
coolest team with the worst match.
Yeah.
It's not the worst match. Sorry, but I feel like both Ninjas and Senbayama are worse than Wild. Or like no say, I like Wild.
Whoa.
It's cool, mostly because I like Kameyama.
Yeah, I mean, Kabayama had some development there with his smaller brother, but saying that Farm is... I'm just gonna use the dub names because I've played the game way more than I've watched season 1. The Farm team had Infinite Wall or Mugen no Kabe that you think it was Kido's match, like...
I like the match, and I feel like it has good moments, but overall I'd say it's one of the weaker ones in season 1 generally. But it's still not a bad match.
Yeah, because looking at Wild, I really hated the guy that basically had Fudo's hair but had a chicken face. I forgot his name, but oh my goodness. That was an annoying ass character.
I think he's the captain even.
Oh, of course. So many good characters. And
From the best team in the series.
yeah. But
I really did like the scene where they were jumping on the car. Like, that was so random, but really...
yeah. I mean, if you look back at it, they were just some hill monkeys that probably have never seen a car or a bus. Though it is surprising since they are an academy. Like, what does Wild do as an academy if they don't even know what a car is? I mean, it just kind of stuck with me. Like, you're in a high school, you know how to play soccer, but you don't know what a car is. What do you teach at Nose? Like, honestly, what do you teach at Wild Academy?
Hunting.
Making traps, maybe? Learn how to be the animal? Learn how to copy God Hand?
My
Make
Animal
fire.
Academia.
Ooga ooga.
Ooga booga.
Okay, wait for it. My Animal Academia.
Okay, now that is a show I would watch if it was Nose.
Same man, same.
Generally, most teams didn't really show anything like in the academy. I think we saw a little bit more of that in the later seasons, but in like season 1 it was you had the captain, you had a character, and then the rest of the team was just the other 9 people on the field, and maybe the goalkeeper had some special moments in the match, but that was about it. We never really got to know any of the teams.
Yeah, season 1 only had like 2 important antagonist teams.
But to be honest,
Excuse you? Are you saying that Otaku aren't the best antagonists in the entire series?
I'm
Like,
sorry.
get out already.
imagine unironically talking about Otaku. Okay. Lost. It seems you have something planned here. Tell us.
Oh,
Well,
no.
actually, this is only a thing Dutch people will get. And a friend of the channel wants to say something. I have a old audio from our good friend Devin,
Oh
and
boy.
I wanted to share it with you.
Oh,
Draken, boeien!
There you go. I hope you enjoyed.
That
yeah.
was wonderful.
So this.
Man, that's a good leak to the new Inazuma season.
Oh, this is why I started watching season 2 in Japanese. This is why I stopped watching it on TV, guys. Dutch people can
He
relate.
actually shouted Dragon Crash in Dutch, and it's really bad.
Yeah, for us, for
The
people
Dutch
that-
names are so.
I'm just saying the German name for Dragon Crash is Dragon Ball. It's Dragon Ball.
He's Dragon
I'm
Balls.
not joking. It's Dragon Ball. The German dub names are fucking horrendous. They're really bad.
Guys, stop. We're gonna get sued by Akira Toriyama himself.
I take that.
No, but looking at like Dutch subs, for example, one of the main countries that actually translated Inazuma was the Netherlands, I think. Netherlands, Germany, and Spain, if I'm correct, were the ones that I actually see.
I think it's fairly popular in France too, as far as I know.
I don't know. I've never seen if it has a translated version, but yeah, compared to the subbed versions with just Japanese voice acting, there's some awful moments in dub Dutch. Probably the Dutch people can relate that are listening to this. It's actually nuts. Can you maybe let us listen to it one more time, like to actually get it along, Lost?
Yeah, sure. Let me get it.
Because this is peak Dutch Inazuma power.
All right, I got it.
Draken, boeien!
By the way, he was drunk and he doesn't remember sending this audio, so bless his soul. Shoutouts.
Does he actually know that you have this, or is he gonna find out in this podcast now?
Oh, he's gonna find out in this podcast. I'm pretty
God.
sure he won't like
I'm
it.
sorry, lost friend.
Sorry, Devin. I'll speak to you in the WhatsApp about this later. You'll be amazing. It's gonna be a hell of a fun moment. Anyway, as we're probably reaching like 3/4 of our time estimation, I think it's fair to say that we can go into the Reddit questions now. We have a couple, as well as one a little bit bigger, which we can probably talk about a little bit longer. And yeah, so the first Reddit question I have here is from Napsolid. Sorry if I said your name wrong, I'm just saying how I read it. His question is, how would you make less relevant characters, such as basically anyone that wasn't in the main spotlight, like stand out more? How would you approach that as a, if you were the animator or if you were the writer of the story?
Besides just giving them more screen time, because that's the easy option, I feel like they should have made their stats more unique, or should have given them e-stats at all, because Coil Turn from Jim, I don't even know his Japanese name, is extremely basic. Then Sam's Africa's shot is extremely basic, it's just shoot ball and it glows.
Grenade shot.
Yeah, grenade shot. Then Tatsumaki Senpujin, is that the name? From Timmy, Shurin, whatever. It's extremely basic. Hadna doesn't even have a move as far as I know. Max has cross drive, which is also very basic. I feel like that's their biggest problem. Their stats are unmemorable. Well, the main characters have like Fire Tornado, Dragon Crash, Inazuma Break, Illusion Ball, Phoenix, Killer Slide. They're all very memorable. And that's what those characters are missing, like from the minor Raimon guys at least.
Yeah, from the minor.
You forgot the most important one. Just saying.
He said Honda.
And what about Mox?
I had him.
Oof.
I mentioned him.
Alright, I'll take it.
Yeah, I
Also, I didn't mention Kurimatsu on purpose. Fuck, Kurimatsu is the worst character in the series.
Who?
At least in OG.
Who?
Did you even get a Hisatsu in OG in the first season?
Yes. No, he got it in season 2 right before he left.
Triple defense, Lamau. No, I did think Max with Shine with cross drive in season 2 when he got the Dark Emperors, then it suddenly was like a big deal. But yeah, like Max could have deserved more screen time, more development. Personally, for me, how I would have taken it is just character development. You know, we see them train, we see them play games, but in later seasons, we, like, for example, a good example is Shindo in Go, where there's actual emotional character development as well, not just training and becoming better. I think if more characters had that in season 1, we might have been able to connect more with the less important characters to the show. We really started connected with them in season 2 when most of them were basically cut from the team and then went to Dark Emperors. That's like the, oh yeah, you were irrelevant, so let's just get you out of the team moment.
Honestly, I think he knew what he did, because if you look at the irrelevant characters, they all look really basic compared to Kazamaru or Gouenji or whatever. So I think he knew from the start, like, oh, I'm not gonna do a lot with.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, but like, yeah, it does make sense. It does make sense. Does anyone else want to add anything on top of this that hasn't been said yet, or can we go to the next question that I have here?
If you want to make like some of the antagonists more memorable in season 1, you could have like incorporated recruitment into the anime. Since it is based off the first game, just get all the mechanics out of the way.
Yeah, that would have been a possibility. Yeah, to see more unique characters besides just Kido join Raimon. And that actually goes into...
Yeah, maybe get like the ninja captain or the occult captain.
Just having like something like a Neo Japan before they fight against Zeus would have probably been pretty cool, with like Sugimori, the pink-haired forward from Mikage, then Occult's forward, someone from Wild, someone from Otaku, just like that. I feel like that would have been really cool to make them more memorable. Maybe even in a later season, but that should have happened.
Yeah, to be honest, I think there was too little. Personally, I don't really remember the first time watching season 1. Basically, when I rewatched it later, but getting back into Inazuma, I watched all the seasons basically in a binge until I believe Go Chronostone. That's where I left off, because that's where the show was at that point. I guess that's also my reason for not liking Galaxy, because I then had to wait for Galaxy to come out. But yeah, I think I think a more unique Raimon, because we'd seen the same characters throughout that show compared to the newer seasons where there's a lot of either development or switching around in the teams. I think I would have also liked to see more of that basically later on. But that goes into our second question that we have here, which is from Namariu, which is what is a character that you would have given more showtime, more screen time, more text? Just Ollie just hit us off with a character. It doesn't have to be from Raimon. Like, what's a character you would have given more spotlight than it currently has?
At least for Raimon, if he counts, Sumioka. But I'd say he gets kind of enough. Besides that, in Raimon, Honda should have got more. Honda is really cool. And outside of Raimon, I'd say it's hard, but Aphrodite should have gotten a bit more in OG because he always got screwed. As well as Sakuma should have gotten more development, not more screen time, but more development because he had screen time, but it was used badly, especially in season 3. And besides that, I can't really think of anyone except for maybe someone like the Occult Captain because he could have been cool, I think.
Yeah, for me personally, it's gonna be no surprise that it's gonna be from Mikage Seno. I found the name of the white-haired Yamagishi is his name. He was the second forward, but Arata basically took all the spotlight because he had Fire Tornado. I think that was a really missed opportunity because I really liked how he looked and he could have been a really unique character, but the Fire Tornado copy of Arata took a lot of the spotlight away. So yeah, my go-to would be Yamagishi from Mikage Seno.
Also, Shadow should have been on the season 1 team. Shadow should have definitely been on the season 1 team.
Facts.
Optimal.
I was about to say Shadow should have been on the season 1 team. Have him get a character before they literally shaft him immediately in season 2.
Got shafted in all 3 seasons. Like, what the fuck?
He was a shadow after all. I mean, like, what would you say? To be honest, is there anyone else you would have given a main stage? Like, I don't know. Is there any other characters that we would have liked to see have more?
Yes, I got one. Like, at first I had Handatsu because I thought it would be really cool if he had like Hisatsus that were used by Tenma, like similar to Seyokaze's Step, Mach Wind, all those things, because it's just in his theme with Revolution V and Rolling Kick. And Genda, simply put Genda. I think he is such a cool design with cool Hisatsus, and yeah, he's just there. He's just there when Kiddo confronts Kageyama, and I wish he did more.
I just gotta chime in when I do agree that Gendo should have gotten more screen time, at least like to make him not be super overrated, which he is. I don't think he should have gotten that in season 1 because where the hell would he be relevant in season 1? Same goes for Sakuma more or less. But like Gendo should have gotten relevant in like maybe season 2 or 3, but not in season 1. He would be absolutely, he would just be a waste of screen time in season 1 probably because Endo's there and Endo's the main character, especially of season 1.
And even for Tegaku representation, Kido's there.
Yeah, Genda, the thing, I kind of have to agree with Lost that Genda was known as the king of, I believe it was the king of goals. Correct me if I'm wrong, Lost, but he was known as the best keeper in the country. Like, seeing so little of him when his reputation was so high, I personally think he also should have gotten more screen time. I respect your opinion on that. At the same time, I also have to agree with Ollie saying that he was really overrated in season 1, and where in season 2 he actually got power and more relevancy to the story with true Imperial team, true Teikoku. Yeah,
He's still overrated as hell. The fanbase overrates Genda hard. Genda is the most overrated character in the entire series. He has basically no personality, he barely gets screen time, but he has a cool design and cool moves, so he's popular. But he's one of the most irrelevant characters. Also, he shouldn't have been on Orion.
He should have
was
been on
better in ours than Genda. Genda only stopped the Fire Tornado.
You're wrong, and you know it.
Right, he literally just stopped Fire Tornado.
It is true. Inazuma 1 broke through full power shield. It was a shame to not see, like, the thing I disliked about Genda season 1 as well, like seeing, now that we're talking about Genda anyway, the thing I disliked about Genda in season 1 is that he had power shield and full power shield, which didn't really reflect, in my opinion, on him as a character. It was just like, it was just the Hisatsus that he had, when I would have preferred to have him have a form of Beast Fang, High Beast Fang, the moves he gets later on. I think that would have fit with him a lot more as a character in season 1, but I guess Hino had his opinions on that differently. I don't know if you
I agree, but I think it's also really cool how Gouenji broke through because he did the impact in front of the shield and not from a distance. Like, the whole story around that is really cool in my opinion.
Honestly, I feel like for Sakuma and Genda especially, they weren't planned to be relevant at all when season 1 was being like laid out. Especially Sakuma, because they always had Jimon as the more relevant forward kind of, because he did Hyakuret's shot, he was in Death Zone, he was in Kotepingen 2, and he was there, if I remember correctly, with Genda and Kido when Kido was confronting Kageyama. But then they just saw how popular Sakuma and Genda were because of their designs, so they got some things to do in season 2 and 3. It's my guess, because I don't think Genda and Sakuma were planned to be relevant at all. That's also why Genda got some rather simple, not really outstanding moves in season 1, and then got Beast Fang, which is extremely popular.
Yeah, looking back, Jimon as a character also, well, he was a good part of the forwards indeed. Like, he got way more attention than Sakuma did in season 1 with Hyakuretsu's shot and Penguin, Death Zone. He was part of everything really, and just kind of became irrelevant later on in the show, as indeed the popularity of Sakuma, Genda, Kido, those three basically grew and grew on.
I unironically really like Jimon. Hyakuret's shot is a really cool shot, especially the Aris version looks great.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I didn't get more.
Yeah, I like his design. He's like, from my experience, he carried me in Inazuma 11 2 in my last playthrough through the story. He was really solid. Like, Jimon is really good, and I just like him overall. He's very forgotten, sadly.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Jimon. Failed to achieve the greater goal due to popularity issues. RIP. F in the chat for Jimon. Anyway, going on to the third question, we're going back to Nepsolid, which also had a second part in his question, which was, what would you predict would have happened if Gouenji actually never joined the team? Do we have any theories?
Series over.
So
yeah, simply put, the series would be over because they would have been destroyed by Occult and Teikoku. Teikoku would have been pure power, and Occult would have been...
I feel like Occult wouldn't have even been as bad, because Endo figured out the curse first, more or less.
Wasn't he did?
Wasn't it Gouenji in the game?
Found a way with Somioka to get through it, but they would have gotten stomped by Teikoku the first time around. Nobody would have gotten Inazuma Autoshi because no one could jump as high as Gouenji. They couldn't have beaten Sugimori without Inazuma Ichigo. They couldn't have beaten Shuriken. They couldn't have beaten Teikoku the second time around. They couldn't have beaten Zeus. They couldn't have beaten Senbayama because they didn't have Inazuma Break. Gouenji is just too relevant for season.
Man,
no matter how
it's almost as if none of the other characters matter.
Literally, the only team that could have been beaten without Gouenji is Itachi, because it got beaten without Gouenji. All the others would have been screwed.
So I'm gonna do a small little twist here, a little theory. If Gouenji hadn't joined and Shadow would have joined instead, how do you think the year would have planned out if that happened?
It depends, because we don't really have a power scaling for Shadow, all things considered. He did Dark Tornado like twice in the entire series, and that's about it. It's depending on how they set him up, like as how strong they put him. If he's as strong as Gouenji, which is sometimes implied, yes, he could have been a replacement for Gouenji, but we don't know that, so it's hard to say. Like,
Well, I
Tomioka could have been buffed up to be Gouenji level, but they didn't. It's just a bit hard.
I personally think Shadow has a stronger shot than Fire Tornado, but I also think he would be a lot like Felix from Fire Emblem, or more relevant, Tsurugi. Like, he would be really lonesome and wouldn't want to do moves like Inazuma Otoshi or other combo moves.
Yeah, it did make sense with the fire shooter, but I think if Shadow was joined, there would have been a completely different vibe, because then, for example, Inazuma Break could still be possible, but then it would be 2 dark shots and 1 light, I guess, because Kido was the dark one in Inazuma Break, and if you add Shadow, then it would be 2, and then you would just have Endo as the light character, technically. For basically, yeah, for Shadow, would they have beaten Teikoku? It's basically, if they beaten Teikoku, they would probably make it further on in the season as well. But like, do you think with Shadow, if we say he's about the same power level as Gouenji, maybe a little weaker, would they have beaten Teikoku?
I'd say on his own, Shadow is probably better than Gouenji, but he'd be worse at teamwork. That's mostly my thought about it.
Yeah, he's pretty much in return for being like slightly stronger than season 1 Gouenji, he's probably not gonna get like any team shots aside from maybe the end if his character were to develop.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, that aside, we probably think they wouldn't go far into the series, and it would have been like a full season of anime, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so then we have one more question before we're gonna round off this podcast, which is from Shadow Soul 8. Now this is an interesting question. So basically, we've all made a team, as it says here. What would be your ultimate team? He doesn't specifically say season 1, but since this is a season 1 podcast, we're gonna say it's a season 1 team. So we all made a team, which is gonna show up on screen right now for you to follow along as well, where we basically took characters from season 1 and put them in our ultimate team. Probably the team you also ran in the first Inazuma game. At least the team I have is the team I ran back in the day when I first started. So I'm gonna start off with my own, which is this beauty. If it wants to pop up. There we go. So this is my setup. Please take a look at it, y'all, and give your opinion on this.
I respect that defense, but because we have like 3/4 out of ours are the same, I think, or like at least 2 of them.
Yeah, there's some. Yeah, I haven't seen your team yet, or I kind of forgot, but like some things about this team. So what this team brought for me in season 1, like it's a shame Infinite Wall was not possible in season 1, but as you can see, I do run Genda and one of the defenders that started Mugen no Kawe. Basically, since I knew back then, I played the game when season 2 came, so I was hoping that Genda would also learn Infinite Wall. But he sadly didn't, but as you can see here, I have the potential for Infinite Wall, the Pegasus, Honokaza Midori, I have God Knows, Full Power Shield, and I thought in the beginning that the forward from Occult would actually have Ghost Lock, so I got my hopes up, like playing the game, that the forward had Ghost Lock, but sadly not. But then I had already spent quite some time in him, and then I was kind of stuck with him as a player. And of course I got the Gouenji Aphrodite as the more standard characters in the team, Ichinose as well, I guess. And then the Mikage Senno defensive midfielder and Eagle. So yeah, this is my team. Let's go on to the next one. Ollie, show us your team.
Yeah, I just have to send it in real quick.
We have the time.
There it is.
There it is.
Okay, So basically, my thought, it's not like Noah's where it's the one I use for playthrough. Although if I had no limitations, I would have used something like this. But except for my midfield, which is very standard, I wanted to get some unique picks. So I obviously got Gmon as forward because I love Gmon. Got Shadow because Shadow is kind of a standard pick. Then I decided to get one of the Mikado Bros for meme reasons because Triangle Zetto is great.
Oof.
And I feel like they'd be good forwards. Like, I mean, that guy at least got into the Inazuma Japan selections. I don't think I have to explain my midfield much. I love Kido to death. He's my favorite character. I love Alfred. I love Ichinose. Then for my defense, I had Domon. I had the Sambayama defender, just like Noah. I had the man, the legend,
The god.
Gotcha.
God. And I had Nishikagi, just like Noah, because I feel like he's a really good defender, especially with spinning cut. And then as keeper, because I thought like, hey, what a cool season 1 keepers. There's Gender, there's Endo, there's maybe Poseidon if you want to go for memes. So I was like, okay, who could I go for? Who's kind of cool? That's why I went with Hibiki, because I adore Hibiki as a character, he's great. And I feel like he'd make a cool keeper. So I went with Hibiki. That's basically my thoughts behind the team.
Yeah, I have mad respect for you picking Gmon and one of the Mukata siblings. I think Mukata sibling and Gmon could actually be 2 parts of Triangle Z, since Gmon also has experience with Death Zone, which is also a triple person technique, basically.
Jima was also Neo Japan, where they trained their sets all together. So since Sagenuma also did Triangle Z, Jimon probably could assist in it too.
Yeah, that would have been cool to see. Anyway, Lost, I see you're very excited to show your team. Show us your team, Lost.
Alright, I'll send it in the Discord. Right,
Okay.
so I think I have a pretty unique selection, I'd say so.
I know 2 of
But-
these characters.
So as my forwards, I have Cheetah from Wild. He's the literal Cheetah, the guy with the scarf and all the jungle shots. I got Arata for a forward because I really liked him in the series and used him in both Blizzard and the first game.
Budget Gouenji!
And the final forward I have is the Ninja's captain. I'm not gonna try his name because that's way too many letters. And I've got a lot of midfielders because it was really hard to pick for me. I also wanted to pick Honda, but he didn't fit in, so I just stuck with this. The first one is Eagle, the same as Noah. And Tell, he's the midfielder from Mikage. He's just really cool to me. I don't know why, but I always give him Dark Tornado in the games and it just really fits. And I also got Wolf from Occult. I really liked his design. I always scouted him when I played the first 3 games and yeah, I just always loved him. I also got the 2 ninjas because I really like the whole trio like I mentioned before. And as defense I got Kazamaru because he was my favorite. And Hera, he's my favorite defender in the entire first season besides
That's not
Kazamaru.
Hera. Hera
It is, right?
A midfielder. That's Hephaistos.
Oh yeah.
Although
Yeah,
I,
same
Hyper-On,
thing.
Hyper-On,
I was
believe his name.
considering Hephaistos too. I really like him.
Yeah, me too. And I really like the move where he just makes a giant foot which crushes everything. I don't know the English, Japanese name, but yeah. And Jenda. I'm a huge Jenda fanboy, as I mentioned before. I wanted to pick Shadow, but I wanted to be unique, as I assumed everyone picked Shadow.
Yeah, ended up with, I believe, Ollie. And I don't know if Vic, do you have Shadow in your team?
I do have Shadow on my team.
Let's show it.
There you go.
Oh
Now
yeah.
stop me if you've heard this one before, but Afrodi, Ichinose, and Kido all in midfield.
Damn.
I knew you were gonna go for Poseidon. I knew it. I absolutely
Of
knew it
course.
because I know we two meme him a lot, and I respect that Gojo, and I
He's-
respect the Zeus forward.
You gotta get the funny, most popular character in Defenders.
Yeah,
And as for-
Perseus.
And then for Kabeyama, you gotta get a defender who won't let you down or give you up. and will play every match.
The real MVP of OG, Mr. Kabeyama himself.
And for the occult forward, a running thing with me is every time I play Inazuma, I always get him no matter what. Even if I don't use him, he'll
Yeah.
always be on my team at some point.
Yeah.
I only played the first 2 games and started
I played-
3.
I've played all of 3.
Wait,
I've
you
played
did?
all
You never
games.
told me. What the
What?
hell? You never told me you finished 3. Betrayal.
Oh, I did.
Anyway, no, yeah, with the occult forward, he always sticks with me as well. Basically, I've played Inazuma 11 3 times, and in the first run through, basically, I hoped he had Ghost Log, as I said previously, and in the end he didn't. But then afterwards, I just kind of got used to having him on my team, I guess, and he just kind of stuck with me for the entire playthrough. And then in the next one, I was like, well, I gotta get him again. I mean, and then in the third place, I was like, well, I'm too used to having him now, and I just tried to experience a bit with his kit, I guess.
I respect that because I feel that I always get the occult forward, like his top name is Talisman.
Yeah.
In Inazuma 11 too, because it's a really good early game forward, because you do get him fairly early, like before you can even get Toko.
Oh, yeah.
And like the moment you had with him, I had with Occult's Keeper. I was considering putting Occult's Keeper for this, but I feel like Hibiki's a cooler pick. Because I recruited him hoping that, I forgot the name. His Keeper move, his cool one, was good. That was just just bad, and it makes me sad because it's such a cool move.
Mm-hmm. I think I know what you're talking about, but I can't come up with the name either. No, but like, as we want to involve the community a little bit more, why don't you guys leave your favorite team basically in the comments, so we can see if we have the same similarities in picks, or if you agree with someone or disagree with someone. Let us know, you know. Like, we're gonna be doing probably this in every podcast from now on, where we show our favorite team. I think that would be a great opportunity to show more our personal taste as well. I don't know if you guys agree.
Yeah, I agree. And
I'm
I'll be the only person to answer everyone again, as I'm the real MVP, just like Lakki.
Okay, we might not be that organized yet, but we're working on it. Upload schedules are a little bit iffy right now, but we'll see if we can manage something later. Anyway, that rounds it up for the Inazuma podcast Reddit questions as well. So, as we reach the end of this podcast, is there any last words that you want to tell to the people that are listening, or to the people that are still here after all the nostalgia haters?
Don't forget to use discount code podcast for 50% off your next G Fuel purchase.
Oh my!
I hate you, dude. What the hell? Well, I actually wanted to say something because I'm quite blown away by the numbers we got on the first episode, and I'm really grateful for what we did, and I'm really grateful for the host Noah for what he has done for the podcast. He does the visuals, the recording, he does a lot for us. So I want to thank him, and yeah. I also want to give a shout out to Joshua Is What on Reddit. He recommended us to multiple people, and I think that's really cool. Oh, and also I wanted to announce a tiny discussion about Inazuma 11 SD with Oliver, and as a guest our good friend Matthias, or Sir Helio. We'll just talk about SD and share our opinions on it in a short discussion video, and I'll probably complain about my horrendous luck, so yeah, if you want to see and hear that, stay tuned.
Okay.
I also want to give another shout out to today's sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends.
We are not sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends, guys. Stop.
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, maybe.
True.
Raid Shadow Legends, hit us up. We're looking for sponsors. Give us money.
I'd like to say maybe next time we'll get it out in a timely fashion.
Yeah.
No, may-
We'll also try to respond more to the comments. I saw some comments pop by about when the next podcast was gonna be uploaded. We're gonna be more active from now on with you guys in the comments, and maybe as well on the subreddit page, as we basically only sent subreddit posts out when we wanted questions for the next podcast. So we'll try to be a little bit more active with you guys now that we've kind of set up the structure in this podcast team. And yeah, I see Lost still has one more thing to say before we end off this podcast for today.
Yeah, so even if I rant a lot on the subreddit, Shadow J, Yap, we love you. Please partner us. Please be friends with us. And don't hate us.
Okay, I think that's where we're gonna leave it off. So, if you like this, please like the podcast, subscribe so you'll know when the next one arrives. And thanks for your support, and I hope to see you, or I hope to hear you listen for the next time as well. Everybody say your goodbyes.
See ya.
Goodbye.
Please come back.
Please.
We need you. Come back, please.
Okay. See you later, everyone. Bye.